Hello and welcome to Earth Day 2022, an event organized by Futuresavers Sustainable Development Initiative in partnership with Ervis Foundation to celebrate World Earth Day 2022. The voice you're about to hear is that of Seyi Akinwumi, founder of Futuresavers Development Initiative Nigeria.
When it comes to solutions to climate change, because the event for this year, the topic for this year is invest in our planet. And as Thomas Edison said, there is a way to do it better. Find it, because building a prosperous and equitable future starts with you and I. And unless businesses act now, climate change will ever more deeply damage economies, increase scarcity, drain profit and job prospects, and impact all. Yet, we already know that the private sector's innovation with public support accelerate the kind of rapid change that we need, like nothing else. And as it pays us, we need to come together to save this planet by investing in our planet, by encouraging our government to invest in smart solutions, technological solutions in solving climate change. And this is why the youth are pivotal to solving this, because they are the ones in tech. They are the ones in the renewable energy solutions. And together we can build a future for ourselves and to build healthy cities, countries, and economy. Because the secret to change is to focus on energy, not on fighting the old, but on building the new. So when it comes to climate change, money talks. Through regulation, incentives, and public and private partnership, government hold the key to transforming and building the green economy. When it comes to building the green economy, it has to do with the industrial and information revolution. And the government must come together with the citizens, with the young people, to solving climate change. And this is why this platform is very important, because the youth are the major drive to solving climate issues. I want to say welcome once again. And this platform, I believe that we are going to stay on board, because truly we are going to be giving certifications, which is going to be certified by international organization. The Earth Day Network is here to in collaboration with Futuresavers, Ervis Foundation, and POP movement. We are going to be giving that certificate for people who are able to stand and to wait at least 4 days and to participate at least 4 days of this event. We have 5 days. If you can partake for 4 days, you are assured that you're going to get certification from us. So I want to encourage every one of you. The door is open. We have great speakers coming from every part of the world, top people that you're going to learn from. And young people will showcase their projects. So I'm elated, I'm excited, I'm super pumped. I know you should be. Thank you once again. Thank you. Priyanka, over to you.
Thank you so much, Shay, for this lovely introduction, and welcome everyone to Earth Day 2022. I'm so excited to see everyone here. A warm welcome from Futuresavers, Ervis Foundation, POP movement in Earth Day Africa. As you can hear, there is a massive rainstorm right now outside. So I think it's a great way to also, see how the nature is also responding and celebrating with us as we come together today. Before we move forward, just a few instructions. I request you all to stay on mute until unless directed towards, switching on your microphones and also your video if possible. If you have any questions, any comments, anything that you would like to share with us, kindly put that in the chat and we will definitely respond to it as and when we can. And apart from that, just interact with us, enjoy, share your thoughts, and be there with us throughout these 5 days, because that's what's going to make this event very, very special. With that, Shay, I will hand it to you to introduce our speakers for the opening keynote address. And we look forward to seeing everyone. Thank you so much for joining us again.
Thank you so much, Priyanka. And I just want to quickly tell you that the person who's going to be speaking now will be telling us about what Earth Day is all about, the history about Earth Day, why this is very, very important, why this event is very important across the world. And there is no other person who is best fit for this than Derek Mugisha. He is the Regional Director Africa, earthday.org. And it starts with leading Earth.org ambition in sub-Saharan Africa, and also in mobilizing ambitious and impactful Earth Day events. He's a wonderful man. He's very busy, but I want to say thank you, and I want to invite Derek to mute and to speak to us and everyone. Derek, over to you.
Yes, thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you. It's good to see you.
My name is Derek, and I'm trying to, it's a bit home, and we're still in the festive, trying to enjoy Easter period. But I'm Derek, and I run the Earth Day Africa project, and trying to see that this year we still have a really ambitious Earth Day 2022. The theme, as you've been told, as you've seen around, is invest in a planet. And we did just pick the theme, but we worked with so many partners to make sure we have a theme that talks about the current global environmental issues, the current inequality issues that are happening, the injustices that are happening. And then we felt it wise to come up with a theme where all of us as stakeholders can really work together, and where exactly we can have the actions that really address the challenges. So one thing we are really looking at is how can we mobilize financial resources for most of the activities that we are doing around Africa, because like we know, Africa only contributes about 3% of the global greenhouse gas emissions, but we have solutions that are really African-led. So how can we resource and finance and give really positive incentives to those that are really doing amazing work for the planet? So one of the things we are doing is running private sector, for example, running governments, running civil society, youth groups, to see that they can also be part of this voice, where Africa not only is looked at as a dump site, but Africa is looked at as a solution-led, continent, a continent that can also help to address these challenges. So this year's theme, Invest in a Planet, talks to everyone that in your work, in your capacity, you can actually do something for the planet. You can actually rally your governments to increase the budgets, for example, maybe trying to address the NDCs, that we can have at least more resources towards Africa. Because again, like I told you, only 3%, really, that's unfair for us when we don't cause much of this crisis. But again, we are always on the receiving end. You know what's happening in South Africa. You've seen the flooding that happened. I've just been reading, we have lost hundreds of people. People died just because of a flood, because we couldn't even have the much needed resilience in Africa. We still need a lot of support in adaptation, in climate mitigation, because again, we are a very vulnerable continent. But this doesn't mean we are not part of the solution. So for us to be part of the solution, it needs all of us, together, working together. There's no more working in silos. We have seen where silos have taken us. It's time that all of us really work together as partners, that we can put all our voices together. We can even mobilize resources together, or we can raise our voices together. Last year, we were part of the COP meetings. And one thing we are pushing from last year, Restore Our Planet, and towards now, was the climate education and environmental literacy, a topic that has been neglected by most of the global actors, because we cannot bring innovations without really educating the masses. So one thing that we all again need to be realigning with this year's theme is that we need to educate everyone. The more we educate people so that they get really activated with the much needed resources, give them toolkits, like giving them the much needed resources, the curriculums being worked up in schools. I've seen so many actors, like all of us here, try to create awareness in your communities. But this cannot be enough unless our governments, all of them, can have curriculums that talk about the climate crisis, that can educate people about what needs to be done. So unless we put all these things together, unless we add up these puzzles and try to solve these challenges, Africa will still be left behind. And we shall still have challenges that we have not brought to ourselves, but challenges that have been always brought by the global north. But unless we all work together, and that's what Earth Day talks about, partnership. If we can have the private sector step out, make commitments and say we are going to do the business of nature instead of the business that really fights nature, unless we do that, then Africa still is going to have a big challenge. Because again, we're having a very much young population, and we have a very, increasing populations in Africa. And at least you all know the projections really will leave us where people again will compete with the natural resources. So unless we come up with innovative solutions, and I'm happy that this conference is happening at the time that actually it's even the first engagement we've had in this Earth Week already, because some people are just waiting after the Easter period. But again, already the conversations have started with this conversation. I'm happy with all the partners that have made sure this engagement happens and that all stakeholders here, for us at Earth Day, we really need to know your views, your ideas. How well can we make this better? How well can we rally governments, civil society, youth leaders, faith-based institutions, academic institutions, to see that all of us are investing in our planet? And I know I'll be speaking again later on what this means for us this year again in the project presentation. But again, do not hesitate to check out our website at earthday.org. When you check there, you go to a page that has Earth Day 2022. You'll see amazing maps, activities people are doing all across the world. Do register your activity there. That's where our partners are looking at. They're looking at investing in activities around the world. And we use that map so that people can identify where activities are happening. So unless you put your event there, at times your event might not be noticed. So please go there, look for the map, and try to put in your information. Because again, we always share all these amazing activities all around the world with our partners. So for us at Earth Day, we are willing to amplify your voices, but this has to come when we all have one voice and we are all pushing for the same ambitions. And this is actually the time for this conference to happen, for this engagement. And we are very positive that all the ideas that will come up from this conversation actually will be moved to further conversations we have that actually we need to invest in our plan. So thank you very much. And I look forward to seeing the outcomes of this conference and seeing how we can implement them. Thank you very much.
That's really a fantastic presentation from you. And I just want to say thank you, Derek, for opening our eyes. And then as young people, doing the little we can in the environment, this is all about recognition. That is, your efforts can be recognized by the Earth Day. Earth Day, like I said, is the biggest civic event in the world. Millions of people are part of this project. So whatever you're doing, your voice can be amplified if you are part of Earth Day movement. And this is about joining organizations that are directly attached to Earth Day. It makes your voice, your project being amplified. And in fact, they know quite all right that funding is very, very germane and important when it comes to pushing climate change. Like I said, when it comes to climate change, money talks. You can use money to drive change. In Africa, for example, we contribute less, but we are the one facing the biggest brunt of climate change and climate crisis. The Lake Chad is drying up, drastically. You can see the migration of the Fulani herdsmen to the south part of Nigeria because of droughts, because of this issues with instability of the climate. So young people, of course, your voice can be amplified. The website is shared by Derek. You can check the charts now. You can check out what the amazing job, the amazing works by Earth Day in Africa. And then you can be part of it. You can ask questions. You can connect with Derek, because here we have made it's an open platform that is very equal for everyone to connect. You can connect. You can make friends. You can make friends with people from different parts of the world, connect, share projects. There are projects that are similar to what you're doing. You can collaborate. You can do all those stuff. This is why this platform is for you. Thank you so much. Over to you, Priyanka.
Thank you so much, Seyi, and thank you so much, Derek, for that wonderful opening keynote address. You have highlighted truly what the essence of this, not just this event, but all that we all are doing here is truly what it truly means and what it truly is. And once again, thank you so much for joining us. We would also love to have you throughout this week, supporting us, listening to all the project presentations that are going to be happening, and interacting with everyone that's around. Once again, a big thank you to Earth Day Africa as well. And with that, on that note, I'm going to move on to the next keynote speaker, which is Dr. Norma, who has joined us from the POP movement. Before I ask her to come in and give her address, a very quick introduction. Dr. Norma is a renowned biologist with a PhD in biological oceanography and marine biochemistry specialty. Dr. Norma is the head of the Climate Change Council to the Presidency of the Mexican Republic. She's currently a researcher of the Interdisciplinary Center for Research and Studies on Environment and Development at the National Polytechnic Institute, Mexico, and she's affiliated with several prestigious environmental organizations. She's also the member of the Group of Ocean Experts in UNESCO IOC and also of the National Network for Interdisciplinary Research on Climate Change, among several other global councils. She's been a big supporter of all the work that we've been doing, and I'm so excited to have her here at the opening address. Dr. Norma, the stage is all yours. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Priyanka. Good morning to everyone. Thank you for the lovely words and the love for the planet that I heard from Futuresavers Nigeria, that is working very, very good and very strong. And from Derek also. Thank you so much. Well, I want to say that for Pop Movement, it's really a great honor to be here with you, to be a part of this great event, this very important event, in this moment where the planet needs our help, where people need to work, people need to act, people need to take care of everything what was done against our planet. And now is no time. We don't have, not even like, sorry, not even what we say a few years ago, we have a very small window of opportunity. I think that we need now to act now, not to wait, because there is no time to wait anymore. Now, youth, like you know, it's a very important part of the society that needs to have a future, really a future, to live in a planet where you can say, yes, this is Earth. This is what I want. This is what I need. This is what I will give to my children. And that is very important for everyone. And for Pop Movement, as you know, working with youth, for youth, and devoted to youth, we need to be together. Everyone, each of us needs to work very constantly, needs to face what we are done, what we did, what we want to do, what we can do, but really do it, really act. I appreciate very much what Africa is doing. You are right, Nigeria is a very important country. We have Cameroon, we are working with Ivory Coast, we are working with Uganda, we are working with Australia, we are working with India, in Mexico, in the US, everywhere, every single part of the world needs to be together, needs to work together, needs to act. Then what I think is so very important, Priyanka, to organize this meeting, because you are not alone. If we as an adults, like many times I heard, yeah, but that is what you are done, what you did, what you are leaving us. I think that everyone has something to do in this part of the fight to tackle climate change. Every one of us. Normally, I say to my colleagues, and to my people, and to my friends, and my students, if we don't recognize that we are a part of the problem, we will never be a part of the solution. That is something that you need to keep in mind. Very little activity that I have has an impact in the earth, has an impact in our lives. We are damaging or we are helping, but I think that this is a moment to help more than damage. We need to think, this that I am doing, what impact will have? I can help others. I can do something for others. I can teach them to do something better. And I think that that is a very important. In this arena that you open up, Priyanka, and Ervis Foundation, thank you very much, and other organizations like the Futuresavers and others that I'm seeing here are very important. Nobody is more important than another. I think that we are the same. We live in the same planet, and we need to do something for our planet. We are maybe already far from go from this planet or close to go. We never know. But what we need to know is that every second count, every moment in our lives is very important to take action, to decide, to say, okay, I will teach the little ones, my own age, the adults, because you know something, the adults in many parts of the world, they don't even understand what is going on. They don't know anything about it. And that is our obligation to try to make people understand that we are running in a world where we can do better every day. Every single person can do something better. Then I invite you to follow this important event, but not only to follow this week, to keep in your mind that you and I and everyone in the world can do something. We need to be that effect that multiply efforts. Every day, think about that. What I can do, what example I can give to others. Because if I don't give an example, how I can ask to others to do something better if I don't do it? Then think about first what you're gonna do. Second, to be an example. And third, to do it, to really do it, to act, to act. Start with your family, then with your neighbors, then with your surrounding, your municipality, your state, your country, and then go up and up and up. We can do it. We need to do it. The planet is asking us to do something. Thank you so very much to be honored to be a part of this movement and this event, Priyanka. We appreciate very much. Dr. Ash, I'm sure that something was happening. For some reason, he's not here with us now, but he will be, of course, he will be with us. And thank you again to all of you, to all your efforts. And please act together, stay with us, and stay with us in mind, in body, and in action. Thank you so much. We have a wonderful session. Thank you, Priyanka. Thank you to all of you.
Dr. Norma, I can understand that you're not keeping well, yet you have taken the time out to join us, and we are so grateful. Thank you for your wise words, and I think it has already been such a great start to what we are trying to do this coming week, and of course, way beyond. It's not just about these 5 days, but like Dr. Norma said, it's the changes that we need to start bringing gradually to eventually achieve what we have thought and wish for our planet. So thank you so much, Dr. Norma. I'm so grateful that you could join us. I'm so grateful to the POP family, and we hope to have your support through these 5 days. And
I would like to introduce Paul Ayomide. Paul Ayomide is a young ocean leader driving for clean ocean and healthy environment through advocacy, event projects, and research and volunteerism. His drive to promote resilient and sustainable ocean has led him to founding Aqua World, an organization devoted to promoting the aesthetic values of the ocean. His drive for sustainability environment has propelled him to volunteering with other organizations, holding leadership role in some, and he is currently the regional supervisor for Southwest region at Futuresavers Sustainable Development Initiative Nigeria, supervising events, projects, and training future climate actors. He is the current director of operations at U Recycling Initiative, leading campaigns and coordinating other volunteers during events and projects. And on the international front, Paul is a National Geographic Youth Explorer of 2021 cohort, one of the youth ambassador at Earth Day Network, a member of the World Ocean Day Youth Advisory Council, a member of Commonwealth Youth for Climate Change Network from Nigeria, and young ocean leader at the Sustainable Ocean Alliance. Paul's drive towards environmental sustainability has brought him to the limelight, speaking at different local and international events, and also earning some global recognition. He believes the ocean and planet at large can be restored through our concerted effort and unity. I want to, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome Paul Ayomide on stage to give us to start his presentation.
Thank you so much, Mr. Seyi. I believe I'm audible. Thank you so much for the introduction, and also my sincere gratitude to the organizers of this event, Futuresavers Sustainable Development Initiative, in partnership with Ervis Foundation, um, POP movement, and Earth Day in general. Okay, so I would like to share my screen to aid my presentation, if possible, so I can roll up fast with time. So I'll move to my presentation. Today I'm going to be presenting our work at Aqua World, how we have been connecting the younger generation with the ocean through education. How this started actually, I remember it got to a point, and I remember that so many information I was getting during my late teenage years were nowhere to be found while I was growing up. So I remember 2019, 2018 to 2019, when I got access to ocean literacy and environmental literacy, thanks to my undergraduate studies. I got to know a lot about our connectivity to the ocean, how our activities affect the ocean, how the ocean also play a major role in sustaining the planet. So I got to know about all of these things, and I was surprised that this information, where were they while I was growing up? Ocean and environmental literacy, why were these important aspects not part of our educational curriculum? This discussion currently growing now on ocean pollution, plastic pollution majorly, why were they not instituted in our elementary classes, to primary school, to high school, and all of that? The way we have our civic education right on time from our elementary classes. So I got to know about all of these things, and I had to reminisce on my past actions. I remembered a lot of time while I was small, how I had contributed to plastic pollution and ocean pollution. So all of these things, were playing in my memory. And just had to look forward. I had to look forward, and I discovered some opportunities. Getting access to ocean and environmental literacy did a really lot for me, shaping my ideas, and it made me discover the opportunity despite getting access to these things late. The first opportunity that I discovered was the need to extend the information I have to children. That's extend ocean literacy to students that are not aware. I want them to get this information right from time, right from their early days. And that was one of those important reasons that bettered Aqua World. And also that has been instituted as one of our mandates to reach out to children in schools through our school outreach projects. We sensitize them on ocean and plastic pollution, and also project the aesthetic values, make them see the beauty of the aquatic environment. Because if you want them to place value on ocean and its resources, we need them to value the ocean and its resources as well. So that opportunity was one of those opportunities I discovered, reaching out to students, sensitizing them, enlightening them, and making them see the connection between our environment and the ocean, the roles we play that affects the aquatic biodiversity, and also how we can improve and conserve the aquatic ecosystem. Secondly, I also discovered the opportunity to bring teenagers and youth on board. Through all of our activities and operation, we began to involve the younger generation in schools, on the streets. We reach out to them. We teach them how to create crafts through our plastic creativity workshop. And also the children that are not able to go to school, we reach out to them through our community outreach. We organize events to involve youths as well, those that are beyond their school activities, those that are already into the other aspect of life. We engage them, we teach them, and also we involve them in campaigns, we involve them in action oriented projects that can help mitigate ocean and plastic pollution. And to end this brief presentation, I'd like to say the younger generation should not be deprived the right to environmental and ocean literacy. This too should be a vital part of our educational curriculum. If the younger generations are well informed, number one, they can create active awareness. Number two, they can provide better solutions. We don't know if someone with a better solution is outside there, but when they do not have access to this information, they are handicapped. Number three, create a more sustainable network to align everyone on the global climate map. Then lastly, create an army our ocean can depend on. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Questions can keep rolling. If you want to ask questions, if you want to connect.
Yes, we can. I think, Shay, we can also open the platform. If someone wants to ask a question, you can raise your hand and we can give you, as we are on time, we can give some 5-10 minutes for question and interaction with Paul. So if any of y'all want to do that, please feel free to raise your hand or let us know and you can unmute yourself.
Yeah, thank you, Priyanka. Thank you, Paul. I think that is a very important project that you have in hands, because people and youth need to understand that everything that is happening inland, sooner or later will go to the seaside, will arrive to the coastal area, from there to the marine waters. This is very important. Many times I've heard people to say, why need to think about the ocean if I live far away from the seaside? And that is what is very important from your program. You need to prepare people to think that a drop of plastic or waste that I put in my community, I will find out many years after on the seaside. Very important. Thank you so very much for thinking this way and to learn and to teach people that that is very important. Ocean is our life. Thank you so much for your effort.
So Samuel will be going next, and I would like to introduce Samuel. So Samuel C. Okorie is a passionate and researcher about grassroots and community development. He is a graduate of sociology and anthropology from the prestigious University of Calabar and holds a higher diploma in computer software application from Mater Misericordia Computer Institute. He has expertise in digital tech, marketing, and sustainability. Samuel has professional recognition as a climate activist, an environmentalist, and gender and human rights instructor by FIGRH. He has over 3 years of professional working experience in the development sector on climate and environment, education, gender, social justice, and advocacy. He is a certified climate and earth educator. He is also a certified community facilitator for women and children and a global youth representative and speaker. Samuel has been a speaker in several global forums like World Sustainable Development Forum, Youth Leadership Network Health Odyssey, Vox Media, POP Festival, Mock COP26, United Nations Climate Change Dialogue, Warsaw Executive Meeting on Laws and Damage, Santiago Committee Network on Laws and Damages to Address Climate Change, and advocacy and grassroots mobilization, and many more. He is a recipient of Global Leadership Award, recognition and appreciation. Samuel is a spokesperson for MOC 26, an ambassador for UNODC Education for Justice, ambassador for POP Movement Africa, ambassador for Global Youth Climate Action Initiative, team partner at Eco City and Cheers, team lead partner representing Africa on a global campaign not yet recycled by JF Media. Samuel has received global recognition from over 40 countries. He is also a fellow of Federation of International Gender and Human Rights, GUNZ, Leadership Institute, UNESCO Center, Peaceland Nigeria, and an SDG champion Nigeria in 2022. Wow, I think I need water. This is amazing from him.
My name is Samuel Okorie, and I hope we're going to have a good time in this brief moment we have. Okay, so today what we'll be talking about is going to be on youth action for climate change mitigation and adaptation. I actually choose to do this because I feel it's not all about talking about what has been done in time past, but equipping youth as climate actors wherever they are in the world. And through that, we can be able to tackle a whole lot of climate issues that comes up even in our immediate communities. Because most often at times people ask, how do I get engaged? That has been the question. I want to do stuff in climate. How do I get engaged? So you've heard my profile, and this is me as well. And it's a privilege to be here with everybody today. Thank you to all the organizers that brought this program together. Thank you to Protect Our Planet movement for this awesome initiative as well, because they have been more like a backbone to me and to other youths all over the world. So youth action for climate change mitigation and adaptation. So we should know that climate change impact can be reduced if youth are bold enough to take action. By bold enough, I mean they consider all other options to say, actually, I want to do this. Okay, so let's go on to what is climate change. Climate change has general impact on humans regardless of gender and other living species. Climate change is a global phenomenon that has a significant impact on our environment, health, culture, occupation, business, industries, policy, and daily activities. According to United Nations, climate change refers to long-term shift in temperature and weather patterns. This shift may be natural, but since the 1800s, human activity has been the main driver of climate change, primarily due to burning of fossil fuels like coals, oil, and gas, which produces heat, such as hotter temperature, more severe storms, increased drought, increased global warming, rise in ocean, loss of living species, food scarcity, rise in severe health risk, increased flood, increase in poverty and displacement. So for some people, we say climate change is not real. Now, how do you know that how can we justify the fact that climate change is real? We can justify the fact that climate change is real based on what is actually happening in our environment. We have seen the increase in drought, food scarcity, insecurity, migration. We've also seen hot temperatures. We've also seen land degradation. We've also seen how it impacts gender, how it affects gender, leading to gender-based violence and the likes, okay? So climate change mitigation and adaptation. What is adaptation? We've heard of the word that we've heard of adaptation often at times, like even IPCC, UNFCCC, COP26, like a whole lot of people have been talking about adaptation, but I feel there is more to adaptation than just the word adaptation. So adaptation can be understood as the process of adjusting to current and future effects of climate change. Okay, and mitigation means making the impact of climate change less severe by preventing or reducing the emission of greenhouse gases. So when you want to mitigate climate change, you know that you do something that will prevent it. So prevention is more like, mitigation is more like preventive strategies, while adaptation is more like adjusting strategies to climate change, okay? So climate change mitigation refers to efforts to prevent emission of greenhouse gases. Mitigation can mean using new technologies and renewable energies, making older equipment more energy efficient, or changing management practices or consumption behavior. You know, like there was an analogy I gave about consumption, and I said, if everybody can stop buying single-use plastics, let's say we are 100,000 in Nigeria and 5,000 decide that they will not buy single-use plastics again for the next 3 months. And the next 3 months again, another 10,000 added to 5,000, which is 15,000 decide they will not buy single-use plastics again. The next 3 months again, another 20,000 added to that 15,000, which is like 35,000. Yes, decide that they are not using single-use plastic again. You know, once people resist, it's going to reduce the way at which people do things. So it's going to reduce production, the way at which plastics are being produced. It's going to reduce the way at which plastics are being consumed. It's also going to reduce the rate at which single-use plastics are being demanded. Okay, so I will talk to us roles of youth in climate change mitigation and adaptation. We have advocacy, we have lobbying, policy implementation, campaigns, education program, tree planting, innovative solutions, political participation, stakeholders engagement. All these things are roles that youth can play. Okay, I started mine as an advocate. So I started doing climate advocacy in 2017 late 2017/early 2018, where I had to take placards, walk down the streets of Lagos to talk to people about climate change impact, to tell them the need to promote clean and green environment. Afterwards, I started as well meeting with stakeholders, politicians in my country, ministries, and all that, telling them about the need to promote climate change, to promote climate action and adopt sustainable environmental practices. Afterwards, I also engaged in campaigns, like organizing radical campaigns in Nigeria. I engaged in tree planting exercise. I've also engaged in education programs in Nigeria, where we have to educate people in secondary schools, in universities, and even lecturers as well, and PhD students on climate change impact and the need for them to act now. We've also engaged with politicians, where we submitted our agenda. Where I submitted a gender and climate inclusion bill that tackles the issue of climate change in Nigeria and the need to consider gender as well. We've also engaged with stakeholders in that regards as well on the need to tackle climate change. Now, this is call to action. A call to action in your community, what can you do? Engage in a tree planting exercise. That is number one call to action. Number two, if you cannot engage in this, talk to your community about climate change and engage them in climate action. That is another call to action. If you cannot do the number one, do the number two. Number three, engage with stakeholders and policymakers. So if you cannot do number one, number two, do the number three. Number four, engage in climate advocacy. So if you can't do any of these three, you can engage in climate advocacy. You can use media, okay? You can even carry placards, snap a picture and post online to tell people climate action now. That is climate advocacy. You're advocating for the climate. If you cannot do this, or if you should do something bigger, organize climate strikes like awareness campaign. If you think you can't do this, number one, number two, number three, number four, you can also do number five. You organize a climate strike. But one sweet interesting stuff about this process is that the moment you finish doing the first one, you are prompted to do the next one. You're prompted to do the next one. Number six, brainstorm innovative solutions for climate-based solutions. Yes, you can brainstorm that with your group, with your team, and with your friends as well. By so doing, you are promoting climate change and adaptation and mitigation approach. Okay, so, and then for everybody that feel that you need to talk about climate change, or you need to join people to talk about climate change, feel free. Don't feel as though you are alone in the world. Okay, I've also had my own share of climate change impact. Yes, I lived in a flooded house. Okay, and then I've also had my share of how I came to have strong influence on climate change advocacy, not just in Nigeria, but in the world as well. Because there's always this resilience of not giving up when you are pushing for something. So as to every youth out there that actually desire this change, that actually want to talk about this change, that actually feel there is need for them to engage in climate action, do not keep quiet, always speak out, always talk to. There is something that somebody said, you don't need to start moving for international. You don't need to start saying, I'm not recognized internationally. Nobody knows me internationally. Start from your local community, start from your household, okay? Once you go footprint, how often do you engage in transportation? How often do you use the public transport? How often do you on your gen? Yes, how often do you leave your lights on? How often do you leave the water on home? And as well, what you do as well to promote climate adaptation from your own home as well, like lights, like eating of meat, all those things. You measure these things. These are also personal ways of taking climate change action to mitigate climate change impact at home, in your church. Even in your church, you can talk to a group of people to tell them, well, I think climate change is real, and we can actually plant a tree in this church. Tree absorb a whole lot of carbon. Tree is more like a carbon sink. Okay, yes. So you can, if you look at your church, you may find out that there is no much tree. You can plant a tree in your church to say, okay, pastor, people often bring cars to the church and they also pollute as well. So why not we engage in a tree planting process in this church environment to sink carbon emission from cars? They will think about it like, wow, this is actually an innovative solution. Let's start from there. Apart from that, even in your secondary schools, in schools where you are staying, you can look at it. Do they have any means of sustainability? Think about it. I tell you, people are just waiting for you to come up with that mind-blowing ideas and to blow the world by giving them those ideas for them to initiate. Thank you so much for the time, and I'm open for questions and further engagement. My name is Samuel C. Okorie, and it's nice being here with you all. Thank you.
That is an amazing, amazing, amazing presentation by you. If I just want to summarize what you have said, I would say courage. I will use that word, courage. As young people, we must not be intimidated by the government. We must not be intimidated by anybody when it comes to climate advocacy. And then the second thing I would say is knowledge. You need to equip yourself with the right knowledge to know how you can act or the position you can act so that you won't complain that, oh, I'm not popular, I'm not a celebrity, nobody will hear my voice. Oh, I can't speak good English, I can't speak good French, I'm not fluent, or stuff like that. I remember some years ago, I was at the airport and I took a placard, just like he said. And in just 5 minutes, a lot of people surrounded me and were asking me questions. And that was when I realized that a lot of people know about climate change, but they don't know how to act. And like Samuel has said, he started by just raising placard. And that reminds me of Greta Thunberg, who happens to be an inspiration to me a couple of years ago. That young lady from Sweden started that advocacy alone at the parliament in Sweden. And now she is a global force now. Her movement, Future for Friday, is now commanding millions of people across the world and fighting, sporadically for climate justice. We can do it. And just like he has said, every young people, you have your role to play. But one question I would like to ask, I know if you have any question, you can also raise your hand. One question I would like to ask you is that how can a youth in a local community make change by involving the stakeholders? I mean, maybe the municipal leaders or the local government leaders and all that. Because we know that, engaging politicians or leaders at the community leader can be very, very stressful. How easy or how best can a young people anywhere in the world engage their municipal or local government leaders? Because I want to believe that it should start from the grassroots, right? That is exactly what Samuel is doing. Samuel is a grassroots evangelist of the climate change movement. And I believe that in your local community, without even going to the cities, you can do something. How do you engage people, leaders, decision makers in your local community? That's my question.
Okay, so thank you so much for that wonderful question. And then I also want to thank everyone as well who have spoken well during the at the chat box. So how do you engage your community leaders? Number one, what problem can you see in your community that you feel is a problem that is affecting majority of people in that community? For instance, there is indiscriminate waste disposal, and you see that this is actually leading to a disease or illness outbreak or is giving rise to flood. Now, you don't need to start making a whole lot of noise, okay? Walk up to the community leader and tell them, excuse me, sir, I like giving analogy on things so that you could easily understand from the part I'm relating from. So you could walk up to them to say, excuse me, sir, I have actually been in this community and I've seen that the way waste is being disposed is not proper, it's being littered, and whenever it rains, it causes a whole lot of flood. I feel we can mobilize a group of young people like myself who are passionate about the environment to do something about it, and they will ask you, okay, how do you intend to mobilize them? How can you mobilize them? Probably before then, you should be able to form a team, or you should be able to have people that you've been talking to over time about a particular issue. Okay, so you can tell them, okay, sir, I have spoken with so people, also youths, about this, and we say, let's meet you to talk about it. You don't go to them as, number one is, don't go to them as a professional, go to them as a novice. Don't go to them as someone that wants to tell them about their problem. Go to them as someone that is also being affected by the problem. Do not go to them as someone that have an expertise, that have an expert idea on how to solve the problem. Go to them as someone that wants to solve the problem with them, so that at the end of the day, in case you're no longer there, probably they have to pollute again and you're no longer there, they can be able to take action for themselves and not waiting for you to come back to take actions. I'll give you a practical example. I went to a community in Cross River State. Okay, and then I met with the community. I discovered that they were actually indiscriminate waste disposal in the environment. Like they burn, they dispose anyhow. And I was really upset about the whole thing. I spoke with a group of young people that already have an organization, because I cannot form an organization myself. So I have to identify people that already have this organization existing. So I told them, what do you think can be done about it? They said, they have spoken and spoken, nothing is being done. And I said, okay, no problem. Let me see if I lend my voice, if that is going to work. So I went to the Commissioner of Environment in that state. And I told him, sir, I have been here in this state. This is what is happening. And once it rains, I'm also being affected. And he says something, he says, okay, what do you think can be done? I told him, let's mobilize youth and do a cleanup. And I feel it's going to go a long way. So he also told me, do you have this youth available? And I told him, yes, these youths are available. He said, can you mobilize up to 25? I said, any amount you need, sir, I can mobilize up to that amount. And when I told him that, he was like, very good. And the next week, he told me, bring your team, let's do the cleanup. And we did the cleanup, and he paid everyone that came out for that cleanup. Did we bargain for payments? No. What happened? We presented the problem as part of our own problem, as something that we as local leaders is by taking the problem as your own problem and discussing it with them as an approach that they can also come into. Even in Nigeria, where we say we don't need some certain kind of stakeholders, I say it's not true, because at the end of the day, they are the ones that you need to pass through to get those things done. So don't work in isolation. And as a youth, let me just drop this little idea. As a youth, you have a passion for climate advocacy or climate activism. You cannot work alone. Don't go and start forming an organization. Don't go and start building your own organization that you want to form your own organization. You want to be a founder. Yes, those things are good. But before you do those things, try to identify yourself with a youth group that is already doing that thing, because it will help you save you a whole lot of stress. It will give you the platform to harness your potential and build your ideas strategically that could help you or facilitate you in forming your own NGO with the vision you already have at first.
That is so amazing. Thank you so much, Samuel. And what you have just talked about is that there is strength in unity, there is strength in collaboration, and there is strength in humility. Because our leaders in this part of the world, they feel threatened when a young person walks to them and say, oh, I know the solution to this, I'm an expert to this. They make you make them feel like they are not capable of solving the problem, or they are just there and they cannot do anything. And at the end of the day, they make you go through rigorous bureaucracy. They will ask you to write letters. They will ask you to do all sorts of things. And at the end of the day, you'll be frustrated. You will not be able to achieve anything. So like Samuel have said, go with utmost humility. Try to have your group intact. Try to make it feel like you are part of the problem. Like Dr. Norman said, if you have not realized that you are part of the problem, you will not feel that you are part of the solution. So let's see that this is affecting everybody, and if it is affecting some people indirectly, it is affecting us. The world is intrinsically linked together. So there is nothing that is happening anywhere in the world when it comes to climate change that doesn't affect everybody. So as young people, we are encouraged that you can walk up to your community leaders, the stakeholders, the decision makers, and let them understand that this is the problem we are facing in this community. I think I can be of help. I think I can join. I think I can join the movement. And like he has said, you don't have to be all over, this personal achievement. I want to be a CEO of an organization, I want to be a founder. Of course, they are fantastic, but you can associate yourself to any organization that is doing fantastically well, that providing solution to climate crisis in your region. Learn from them, be a part of the movement, make yourself relevant, and that you have a lot of knowledge even if you decide to move forward by having your own organization, so to say. So thank you so much, Samuel, for that wonderful presentation. You can engage Samuel. He has provided his LinkedIn. You can just look into it and try to engage him. The Futuresavers and Ervis Foundation social media platform is there. I would advise and I would encourage everybody to follow as well. Follow and try to engage us, get to have updated information. And once again, before the next speaker, I would like to say that this event is brought to you by Futuresavers Sustainable Development Initiative Nigeria in collaboration and in partnership, direct partnership with Ervis Ocean organization in India, POP movement in the United States and India as well, and the FD network, FD Africa, is part of this project. And I think we are the first organization who have started, or this is the first program when it comes to conversation about this year's Earth Day. Today, many people are still in the holiday mood, especially the Christians amongst us. But without a good planet, without a livable planet, no celebration, no festivity can be as important as the house that we have. If your house is on fire, I mean, you can't even live in the house. And that is why we have prioritized this day to mark, to start the movement, to start the conversation when it comes to the Earth Day 2022. The topic, once again, is invest in our planet, because it is important that we invest our resources, technology, invest in education, invest in culture, and invest in the indigenous people, because we believe that they are the ones closer to the problem and they're the one with the solution. So here is a platform for young people to deliberate, to connect, to network, and also for them to be able to, showcase whatever they are doing in every part of the world. And I'm going to be introducing a fantastic lady who is going to be going next, and that is Celestine. All right, so Celestine is a 20-year-old marine science undergraduate student in Bali, who is also working full-time in SCUBA diving company that focuses on coral reef restoration off the east coast of Bali. The ocean itself has always had a special place in her heart ever since she was a kid. And Celestine believes, and she's also very grateful that she's having an opportunity to be able to, provide solution to coral reef restoration in Bali and the coastal region in Indonesia. I want to say welcome to this fantastic moment, and the stage is yours. You can paint it any color that you want. Thank you.
Thank you, Anton, and thank you everyone, especially from Futuresavers, Pop, and also Ervis for giving me the opportunity to speak in this great event. So, as you asked before, what SCUBA diving? It's actually called a scuba diving. It's a self-contained underwater breathing apparatus. So it's the diving that you use tanks, as you can see in this picture, to help us work underwater or do leisure trips and see the underwater environment. So moving forward, as mentioned before, my name is Immanuela Celestine. Usually people call me Cleine. I currently live in Bali, and I'm also working full-time at this company called Living Seas, a scuba diving company that also focuses on coral reef restoration. My role in the company itself is as their creative manager and occasional project manager. Okay, so moving on. Saving our oceans one reef star at a time is a title that I'm bringing up at my presentation today. Okay, let's go on. So out of all marine creatures that are living in the ocean, why do we pick the reef? So we know that the reef holds four main roles in the environment. It is for supporting, informing, regulating, and also cultural benefits. So for supporting itself, even though coral reefs only cover about 0.2% of the seafloor, it actually is home for more than 830,000 marine species. Not only that, 25% of the marine creatures actually rely on the coral reefs. Aside from that, for the informing, just like trees on land, coral reefs could serve as information about either natural disturbances or even sea temperature or other source of natural information by seeing from their skeleton growth. Other from that, regulating coastal protection, water quality, and biogeochemical cycling. So the reef itself helps dissipate 96% of the wave's energy before it hits the shoreline. If it were not to happen, imagine what could happen to our shoreline. We would lose them faster than we expect. And we don't want that to happen. Aside from that, the biogeochemical cycling, there's still a debate whether coral reef serves as a carbon sink or carbon source, but I believe that coral reef is actually a carbon sink, which could help adapt to our current situation in facing climate change. And the last but not least is the cultural benefit. So it's like social and also cultural necessity. So let's say like Bali, I'm pretty sure most of you know where Bali is. It's a small island in the country of Indonesia, where we rely mostly on marine tourism. So without the reef, there won't be any waves for people to surf. There won't be any fish for people to eat good seafood. There won't be any reef for people to go diving in the region. So local people here actually still rely on the reef. Okay. But unfortunately, the reef itself is facing lots and lots of threats. Let me walk you slowly into it. I'll be showing you a video. So as you can see in this video, this is a video of a river, mouth of a river that connects straight to the ocean nearby our conservation site. So you can see in the video that there are lots of plastic pollution, plastic waste that are very poorly managed. Therefore, it's left and was thrown into the river by the local people. Not only that, the waste unfortunately doesn't stop there. Other than it moves with the water. So every time we go out and dive, this is what we usually see during the rainy season on the surface. You can see like there are plastic packaging, and then there are also organic waste which are poorly managed. Therefore, it's floating on the surface of the water. And not all the plastic waste stays on the surface. Other than some actually sink to the bottom of the ocean, therefore becoming a risk for the marine life, like as you may already see in a video of a turtle with a straw stuck in its nose. That's exactly the same thing that happened to coral reef, where it gets covered by plastic waste or other waste which could endanger their well-being. So what we always do every time we go diving is we try to collect as many trash as possible and put it in our pockets. Okay, wait. Okay. Aside from that, other very high-risk threats that are happening in the region, especially marine-based tourism, is humans, irresponsible human activities underwater, like kicking off the corals and sitting down on a seabed and creating silts that could lead to sedimentation and that could endanger the livelihood of corals, is actually one main part of the coral reef degradation threat. So aside from that, there's also climate change, where climate change could lead eventually to sea temperature rise. That temperature rise eventually could bleach the corals. The algae that's living inside the coral would die because of the high temperature or unpredictable temperature. And according to research, apparently the recovery rate of coral reefs does not match the rate of damage being done. Therefore, the act of human intervention is needed. So what are we doing and how do we do it? What we're doing is we try and restore the ocean off the east coast of Padang Bay, which is East Bali, with a structure called the Mars Reef Star. Mars Reef Star structure itself is a hexagonal steel structure coated with resin and sand as an artificial substrate for up to 18 coral fragments. So this structure itself is an innovation made by the Mars Incorporated. As you might know, it's a chocolate company, the Mars Chocolate. So this is a part of their their other focus, which is the environment. Therefore, they come up with this innovation to help different parts of the world in restoring the coral reefs. Other parts they're implementing this method, from what I know, is Australia. Is where they do the research, and also another region in Indonesia called Makassar. So the structure itself, you can see here, for every structure, we connect one bamboo tag to identify and help monitor every month, and to give the donors a sense of fulfillment once we send them the report. So this is a close-up view of the bamboo tag and the structure itself. And this is the top view. As you can see, it's a hexagonal shaped structure, which each side will be connected to other structures and create a vast web of structures. And then next would be the side view. As you can see, there are 18 planting points. There's this one. I don't know whether you can see my mouse, but there are 18 planting points. And then, so why do we choose to implement this method? It's because of its modularity, flexibility, and it also helps in stabilizing the substrates, which are mostly rubble or rocks. As you can see here, these are rubbles, which are dead corals. And this is very unstable when they're stormed, so it could hit a healthy living reef and could cause more damage. Therefore, using the structure, it increased stability for the substrate, and it's suitable for a site. Aside from that, it's also cost efficient. The materials used in making the structure is easily found wherever you are, and it doesn't really cost a lot of money. And also, it serves as an opportunity point where even though we plant the corals, there's still chance for natural coral larvae to stick themselves to the substrate because it acts as an artificial substrate. Aside from the Mars Reef Star, to increase the biodiversity and to restore other types of corals, we use bottle reef. So bottle reef is a structure made from used bottles, glass bottles casted in cement or concrete. And this initiative came up as a means to make up for the lack of coral biodiversity that the Mars Reef Star structure can handle, which are mainly branching corals. So as you can see, I have this picture of the top view. It consists of multiple bottles with a space in the middle where we can put different types of corals other than branching, and then the bottles will help stabilize it without us having to tie them down. And the mouth of the bottles, as you can see, there are still holes in it, on it. And it serves as homes for either moray eels or fish or maybe other different types of marine creatures. And sometimes we see fish swimming around it, acting as if it's their playground. This is a side view. It's very colorful, very beautiful, very nice. Then, so you've seen the structure. Now I want to show off maybe a bit about the success of our site. So our site has been there for about 3 years now, and we've seen great success where marine life is starting to go back, and fishermen are starting to huddle up at about our site, which means they feel like fish are easily found in the area. So I have this video of our site. Yeah. Those are the sites that is about 3 years old now, and these are the recently planted sites. So you can basically see the difference between the new site and the old one. And then, okay. So current state of our conservation site, we have 3 main sites now, called Bawang Penyu. We have 810 reef stars put down and 88 bottle reefs covering almost around 551.4 square meters of seabed. Then we also have Mimpang. There are 109 reef star structures there, approximately covering 70 square meters of seabed. And as you can see, you cannot really see the structure in this picture because it's fully grown, and that's what we aim for. We don't want the reef to be seen as artificial. We want them to be seen as natural as possible. So our goal is to restore. And then the last one is the most recent one. It's called the Tanjung Jepun. This one is actually sponsored by Mars itself. We have 100 reef stars covering approximately about 60 square meters. Our end plan is to cover about 1 hectare of seabed with reef stars, and to fully cover it and to fully maintain it. Okay, so I think that's the end of my presentation. There's this last words from me. So when we're talking about investing in our planet, investment is all about delayed gratification, which not really many people get the idea of. When you invest, you don't really get a straight up result. You have to wait for some time for it to actually go back, and you can feel the results of it. And my end word here will be: we might live on different islands, different continents, different countries, but we are connected by one vast ocean. So wherever we decide to act, eventually will definitely affect other people in different parts of the globe. So Living Seas is very open to collaborations with other companies and organizations from anywhere around the globe. And we actually seek for collaborations because I think it is needed to eventually create a bigger impact. And I think that's a goal that everyone wants. Therefore, if you want to know more, if you want to read more about our project, you can visit our website at www.conservation.livingseas.asia, or you can follow us on Instagram, livingseas.asia, to stay updated on our project, because we sometimes do updates on there too. Or I have my personal info there if you want to reach out to me and ask other questions. I think that's all from me. I'm sorry if I'm taking too much time than allocated. So thank you. It's been an honor talking in front of you guys.
Wow. Wow, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful presentation. This is one presentation that I'm looking like, I don't really know much. I'm being schooled right now. And this is an amazing job by Living Seyi. I mean, you guys are doing wonderfully well in your region. And then one thing you said about investment, you said investment is like a delayed gratification. That is a strong word from you. I mean, it is not just about what are we going to gain right now. That is what so many, that is what our government refused to understand. From the part of the world that I come from, I will say this, and I know everybody will hear, and it's going to be on record. I will go to the government office, and I will tell them about some solutions. And the question some of them ask, what do we stand to gain right now? Like, what are we going to gain now? People do not want to, they are not really interested in investing for the future. It is not just about now. The person who does the best thing in world is someone who plants a tree, for example, knowing fully well that this tree, I'm not going to stand under it or eat from the fruit from this tree, but I'm going to plant this tree so that the next generation will have fruits to eat. That is investment. That is the idea. That is what you're talking about. That is what I can see. I think these are your pictures, diving inside the ocean, risking your life. I mean, this is not something, it's scary. I don't think I can enter into the ocean that deep. Going down deep, down the ocean, planting reeds, trying to, save the lives of biodiversity. This is an amazing work you're doing. And I know people might have questions for you, but when it comes to investment, like how much you guys are putting into this to make it happen, because the scientific equipment that you have to use, this requires money, right? This requires money. This is a whole lot of investment. What is the drive? How do you get the funding to be able to achieve this? I'm interested in that. Would you like to answer that?
Okay, so this is actually a pretty good question. I actually have that part of the slide inside my presentation that looking at the time allocation, that I don't really have much time. Therefore, I decided to remove it, but I'll tell you now. So we actually have 5 sources of funding. One is from a crowdfunding platform where we create campaigns and a website for crowdfunding. In Indonesia specifically, we use a platform called kitabisa.com. It's the biggest crowdfunding platform in Indonesia. We have collected for about, I think, I don't know how much it is in USD, but we have collected for about 47 million Indonesian rupiah through that platform. And then we also utilize Gift.Asia for our Asian community. So it's applicable for either Singaporeans or other countries in Asia. And then for a second one, we usually do one-time donors. One-time donations are like people who want to donate 1 week star or multiple week stars with just one time. We usually collaborate with other companies who are interested in giving back to the ocean as a part of their CSR program or whatever. Therefore, they donate just probably one time or multiple times. And then the third one is monthly subscription. So just like how subscription works, they could subscribe to a plan where we will plan a certain amount of free stars for them every month, and we will send them, of course, reports of their growth, of the structures as you may have seen before, the 3 point of view, the close-up, side view, top view. Therefore, they can check out their corals growth. And then also, since we're a scuba diving company who does leisure diving trips like sun dive, every time someone books a diving trip with us for a day, we will allocate our revenue towards our conservation project. So for a day of diving that you do with Living Seas, we will plant 1 reef star structure on your behalf. And the last one is actually collaborations with other companies, where other company would help us raise the awareness of the problem and help us raise the nation. I think that's all fast.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. Because I believe that when it comes to climate change, money talks. There is a whole lot of money there. I mean, investing in the planet. That is exactly what we are talking about. That is the conversation here.
With that, we will now move to the last section of today's event, where we have the amazing Futuresavers organization that has been doing incredible work in Nigeria in the space of climate education. And we have Seyi, who is the founder of Futuresavers, who's going to be talking to us about what they do and what is it that has kept them going in the work that they've been doing, and how is it that they have been inspiring change in Nigeria. So before I hand over the floor to Seyi, I would like to do a quick introduction of Seyi and Futuresavers, of course. So Seyi is a social entrepreneur and a passionate climate change activist in Nigeria. And he's, of course, the founder of Futuresavers Sustainable Development Initiative. He is a clean energy and biodiversity activist in Nigeria, and his zeal for a sustainable environment that produces clean and renewable sources of energy led to his passion for climate change activism. It's his opinion that every child has a right to a cleaner source of power and shouldn't be exposed to dangerous fumes and smoke, which has resulted in millions of children suffering from respiratory diseases in Nigeria. He also believes that children need to be empowered and protected from climate change. The extent of the climate crisis in Nigeria and the alarming fact that only a few are aware of climate change has led to him wanting to take the path of climate change in a way to spread light of hope to those who need it the most. This assertion led him to found the non-profit in 2019, which is focused on climate change advocacy and adaptation projects in rural and urban communities in Nigeria. He has led his organization to numerous tree planting festivals and climate education projects in Nigeria, and his organization has over 1,000 members and has planted over 300 trees, including a community green park in Fuller Secondary School, Okorie, Ondo State. He has also impacted lives of the deaf children in the School of the Hearing Impaired, where he taught children with disabilities climate solution skills and helped them to mitigate and adapt to climate change. She has been involved in several coastal cleanups, and he has also helped in making climate education reach for people living in these marginalized communities for them to learn nature-based solutions in tackling climate issues. Of course, she has been moderating throughout the day, but it is incredible to know that he is no less. Of course, he's been praising and motivating all of us, but he has done incredible work as well, and so has Futuresavers. And I think it's an honor for all of us to hear what they have been doing. So Seyi, we are very excited to hear and go through this journey with you. So I hand over the floor to you. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Priyanka. Thank you. It's an opportunity. I always feel like it's a privilege, to be able to be part of this movement. And it's a big privilege. And I'm very humble to be able to share the things that we do in Nigeria. And we are doing a whole lot of things. But something really caught me so much in 2019, and 2020, right? And I became a bit attached to that project, particularly that I make sure that the organization drive this course, even alongside the other projects that we are doing presently. And I'm going to share my screen. It's not as beautiful as the other speakers, so just going to take it like that. But I think the most important thing is for you to be able to see a bit of the project that I'm actually leading and helping to bring to reality in Nigeria. And I'm just going to share a PowerPoint presentation with you guys. Let me know if you have seen my screen at the moment, and then I can start.
Yes, we can see it, Seyi.
Perfect. All right, thank you so much. So the title for my presentation has to do with disability and climate change, and then how climate-related hazards increase vulnerability among the most at-risk population. I believe so much that climate change affects every one of us, including the people living with disabilities. But unfortunately, from the research I've done, I realized that they have been marginalized and their voice needed to be heard. And I believe that some of these people, they are very, very, very smart. And in fact, it's going to affect them even more because of their present condition. So children are my focus when it comes to this for now. And then children are the ones who will be the most impacted by the crisis, and the ones who will suffer most from its consequences. There is one saying that I used to say that it's morally wrong to deny these kids climate education and the truth about climate change. You can't hide it from them. It's better you tell them the truth and then get them equipped. According to the UNICEF, more than 50% of the youth population live in one of the 33 classified countries when it comes to extreme high risk. And climate change is a growing threat to people with disability, especially those with complex medical conditions who may have troubles with adapting to the threats it poses. And these children faces a deadly combination of exposure to multiple climate and environmental shocks with this vulnerability. So if you have, or if you live around people who are going through this difficult moment as a result of their disability, you will understand that the extreme weather condition affects them more when there is too much of when there is too much of cold, they get more affected. When the global warming is really on the rise, it affects them mostly because they don't have that, earth-wise, they are not as strong as others. So how do we help? It's going to be a short presentation, but how do we help? Because the most important thing for me, how are we going to help these people? And then we set up in our organization, FSDI, that's Futuresavers Sustainable Development Initiative. There is a program for those special kids that we set up, and we have a case study. And our aim here, I wrote the aim here that to empower and equip these special children with climate adaptation skills to prepare them for a warming world. I believe it is morally wrong to deny these kids who are already marginalized the reality of climate change. I want to empower them so that they are seen as kids not to be pitied, all right? Of course, people think they are kids to be pitied, right? But to make them solution providers and change makers. Because when we talk about special kids, people just go to these schools in my country to give them food items, to pay visits to them, to play with them. You don't see them as children who can contribute to the sustainable development. They don't see them as kids who can provide solutions like their fellow kids. So they are being marginalized. They don't even come to their schools for such programs. They just share foods and stuff to them. But the idea is for them to be able to have the right knowledge, scientific knowledge, technical knowledge, to be able to create craft, to be able to solve climate issues, to be able to be aware, actually, to have the right knowledge so that they can provide solutions in their own spaces, actually. So we visited this school of the hearing impaired in Okorie, in Ondo State, Nigeria. And the kids, the special kids, were enlightened about plastic pollution, and then the need to take action to mitigate this environmental menace, all right? And the communication with the schools was very effective, because you might want to ask, how do we communicate with people who cannot hear what we are saying? Of course, we have a language translator, someone who helps to sign language translator. So as we speak to them, the translator was, translating to us. This is me putting a seedling, and this is toasting, and there's these kids, they can only talk to you via sign language. And I cannot forget the excitement in their faces when they got to know about climate change and environment, and how they can stop using plastic, and how they can use plastic to create craft. They were so excited. This was our first visit to the school, and I cannot forget. And here is Ayomide. Ayomide just presented now. Ayomide accompanied me, and this is the headmistress of the school. We planted this tree also in the school, and it was so amazing, and they were ready. We came in with some plastic to show them that these are injurious. This plastic are not actually good, but we can use it to create something, to plant flowers, to plant stuff, to create, different items. So this happens to be the first visit to the school. So we visited the school again in December last year with the aim now to establish a climate club in the school. Like other schools that we have been visiting, we create climate clubs where these young people becomes the leaders of this club. And they can also train other young people like them. They get the right knowledge, the right education when it comes to climate education. The first thing we do is to train their teachers. So we train the trainers. We come with our volunteers, we train the teachers, they get equipped first, and they are able to disseminate the right knowledge to these children. So the workshop, the teachers and the students, were trained on how to reuse plastic materials to create crafts, such as watering can and stationery cases, okay? And here is the picture. This is Ayomide, this is the plastic we brought. And you can imagine, we had over 600 kids in the hall that day. It was packed and they were ready to be involved. And you can imagine, you might think maybe they are not smart, but I can tell you they are so smart. This is you can see the kids now patiently making these things. They made these stationaries cases where they can keep their pencils, their pen, their eraser, their sharpener, and stuff like that. They made watering can. This watering can will be sold by them. Those items that they make, the idea is they will be able to sell or auction them so that they can get funding to their club. Now, you can imagine these kids that are seen to be the kids that you take gifts to. Now they are creating solutions, they are creating craft to be sold, to get money. And their enlightenment, their mind is getting, to be opened, and they are seeing themselves as valuable, as part of the community, as part of the environment, to create solutions. And they are not going to be talked less about anymore. Empowering them is the solution we are bringing here. So we have a projection. Just to be very quick, the projection is to establish a green garden very, very soon in the school. The school already gave us, the school administrator gave us a portion of land where we can start a green garden. That green garden, these kids will be taught on how to plant vegetables, and these vegetables will be sold in front of the schools, right? And people passing by will be able to buy from them. And you can imagine, they are going to really buy because they're going to be making fresh vegetable every day from the school garden. And then we are going to be introducing a climate education curriculum in partnership with Eco Heroes United States. We have a partnership in place with a very big organization in the United States. And we have involved this school as part of our pilot project. So you can imagine the importance that we placed in them. And this is our Twitter page for you to get more information. And I can remember we went to the school. I don't know if you can still see my screen. Can you see this video? All right, can you see now?
Yes, we can, but we can't hear anything.
All right.
I think the audio
Okay,
is on.
well.
Yeah. We still can't low the volume.
How they beautiful flowers. Decoration. Okay, let me tell you a little bit about that. It is good for food production. When you have more flowers, it shows that there is food that is coming. And when there is food, and then you have a lot of butterfly for pollination. If you don't have more trees, if you don't have more of this flower, there will not be butterfly to pollinate, and there will not be food for us. There will be hunger, there will be drought. I mean, there will be famine back. So we need more food. We need to plant more trees to have more food. So next week we are going to be planting guava. This is guava. After 3 years or 4 years, you can eat the guava, and you will, in fact, one guava tree can serve everybody because it brings a lot of seeds. And we have a masquerade tree here that serves as a queen breaker. If you have one tree here, there's no wind that can remove this roof because it helps to bring the wind. So we are going to be planting this. So we'll be leaving this with the spoon to be wetting. It must not die.
once again, I want to thank the coordinator for Futuresavers Development Initiative. I really appreciate his coming to this school.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone. I believe you love the video. You can go on our platform to check more videos like this. And yes, that is the end of my presentation. If you have any question for me, I'm available for that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Seyi. I think what you're doing with the Futuresavers and just the change you're bringing, I think these are topics, I think there's so much that we need to still learn and know about, and you've been doing that. And it's through these presentations that we also get exposure to how we can take a lot of the work that people are doing in different regions. So I think it's a great way to learn from one another. And what you're doing at Futuresavers and what the entire Futuresavers team is doing is incredible. So big, big congratulations. And we cannot wait to see all that you're going to keep doing as you go forward. It's an honor for us to collaborate with Futuresavers, given the kind of things that are doing. We have a lot to take away from y'all, and we just hope that this collaboration goes on in a bigger way, in a better way, in a more impactful way as we go forward. So once again, thank you, Seyi, for the incredible presentation, and a big congratulations to the Futuresavers team for all that they do. Like I see Sam has also put a comment. So Sam, is there something you wanted to share? Do you want to unmute and talk about it?
Okay, yeah. So I mean, stuff like this is really awesome, Seyi. Like, it's super great. And then we have also established something similar to this. That is in a secondary school. It's currently ongoing. Like, it's fat. It has for the cucumber and then the watermelon, and we planted 2 indigenous vegetables like ewedu and efo. They have already started growing. Even for the trees too have already started growing. That is in a particular school. And then the evasion process is what actually we had in mind is shifting people's attention from meat, from seafood to vegetables, as to promote sustainable food production and distribution, because we know that the country is actually experiencing a whole lot of slack when it comes to food supply. There's been a whole lot of scarcity. So the intention is, if people can be able to shift their attention from livestock, from seafood to vegetables, it will reduce the pressure at which people put on a particular on a particular type of food. Like, everybody like rice, everybody like beans. But what if out of everybody, 10% of the total population shifts to vegetable? It's going to reduce the pressure coming from that particular area whereby people 100% wants to eat rice. So it's really nice. And then the project too, we are looking at expanding it to other schools, because as our last week, we gave 10 fruit trees to overnight schools, so to plant in their schools, and very soon we'll be upscaling. So I like it when I see what we're already doing or what you're about to do being practiced as well. It shows unionism, it shows likeness in terms of mind connection, and it shows this focus from everybody. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sam. Seyi, is there something you want to add or comment before we move to the ending of today's session?
Yeah, I think I don't really have much to say. I just want to encourage everybody that while you're going about your climate advocacy in your country, do not forget children living with disabilities. They also need our help. They are part of the nature. They are part of, the earth. So we need to help them as well. We need to also concentrate and also help women, because women face the greater brunt of climate change. When there is climate change going on, or there is erratic change in climate in any community, you see the young men migrating, moving, their husband leaving for the city and trying to survive. But the women are left behind in these communities with their children to survive, and they are the ones who face the brunt of climate change the most. So we need to also help the children. We need to help the women in the community. This is going to be our responsibility as young people. So we shouldn't leave that behind. And that is why I'm so interested in this particular project amongst many that we are doing in our organization. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Seyi. I think exactly as you pointed out, and as all the presentations have pointed out, the issue of climate change is so interlinked with so many of the other social issues that we deal with, be it disability, gender issues, we have to talk about food security, so many of the issues, and we realize how, in a sense, environment is interlinking between all of this, and that's why I think the idea of addressing climate change becomes all the more important, because it's not just about protecting the planet or protecting our future or creating a safer. It's also about having a good food, having good shelter, being able to provide that livelihood, that safe space, that homes, that resources for everyone. And I think that's where it comes down to. So we really need to understand and find where we fit into this entire movement that we are trying to create. What is our space? What is our connection with nature? What is our connection with what we are trying to do with the people that are associated around us? And how can we bring in more people? How can we mobilize more people? And I think, like what has been the theme of today's as discussion, which is investment in climate education, just educate ourselves too. Keep realizing that it's a constant learning process. There's so much we need to know, so much we need to learn from one another. And I think that's exactly what's happened today. We've had so much to learn from one another. So I think it would be amazing if you all could write to us what has been your takeaways from today's session. We would love to hear it. Has there something that has inspired you? Has there something that has made you feel like this is something you want to take up? Anyone that you want to connect with? Anything that you are going to change going forward? Anything that you are going to bring about in terms of your community? Anything that you're going to implement? We would love to hear it. I know you all have all the details of our social media, of our websites, of our email addresses in the chat. So please do share with us. I think this is the time when we talk about investing in climate education. It's also about investing ourselves into this process of learning. So thank you so much to every presenter, every guest speaker who has joined us today. This is just the day one, and it's been so exciting, so filled with knowledge, filled with inspiration. And I hope you all felt the same way that I did, that Shay did, that all of the organizations that are organizing it have been feeling. If there's anything, if you all want to reach out to us for, do feel free to do that. And just quickly to run you through tomorrow, we are looking at investing in culture. So we'll be having some short films, we'll be having some performances, and of course, we'll be having a series of project presentations just like today, which are going to be incredible. So please do be there. We do want to see you there. And like Shay said, it is a event that you're going to get a certificate at the end of, so do participate. And apart from that, thank you so much for being there with us today. Shay, if there's any other closing comments you would like to add, please do. And wishing everyone a great evening, great morning, great afternoon ahead, and we can't wait to see you all here tomorrow. Thank you so much.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you once again for standing by. This is the change that we are seeing. That is exactly what we want to see. Young people who are passionate about learning, about connecting. Like I said, the currency that we spend right now in this generation is networking. You need to learn that currency. You need to have that currency, that coin, to network with people. It's so powerful. It makes you so invisible and limitless. That is, your work can be seen anywhere in the world. So here is the platform. Tomorrow, we want everybody to come on board again. We have great speakers like Dr. Seyi, the former Minister of Education in Nigeria. We have great people from the United Nations. We have people from the US. We have people from India. We have some great guys. Tomorrow is going to be a fantastic project presentation. You're going to see a lot of things happening tomorrow. There's this presentation. I'm really, really excited. We have Chine and Chuba, is actually the twins. We'll be live tomorrow to share the journey about how they are creating heaven on earth through their garden project. It is fantastic. They have a lot of videos and beautiful sightseeing images and videos for you tomorrow. So I want us to connect the same time tomorrow. We appreciate your time. But before you go, we want to have a group picture. So I want you to open your video. Like everybody, we want you to switch on your video and do a sign, a peace sign like this. The peace for the planet Earth. Peace for the planet Earth. Peace for the planet Earth. And you can turn on your microphone now. Everybody is free to talk now. If you want to say anything, it's time. So we want everybody. We are going to wait for every one of us to switch on our camera. If you don't mind it, switch on your camera with a peace sign. Switch on your camera with a peace sign. Yes, is for Mother Nature, is for the planet. And we are going to take a group picture. Put on your best smile.
Yes. 3, 2, 1.
All right, are you ready?
Yes.
One more. 3, 2, 1. Got it.
If you don't want your face to show, please ask an opportunity.
Gracias todos.
Gracias a todos.
Well
Thank you so
done.
much.
Gracias.
See you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Sam.
Naya, Mama, I greet you. It's good to see you. We have great grandmothers.
Hello, Dr. Namas. Good seeing you here.
Thank you. Great to see you too. Thank you so much.
Dirisha, it's nice to see your face today. It's nice to see you.
Nice. Yeah, nice to see
Thank you, Dirisha. Thank you, Felix. Thank you, Felix. Thank you, Samuel.
Thank you too, Seyi.
Thank
You've done
Abraham.
well.
Thank you,
Thank you,
everyone.
Anka. Thank you too.
Thank you.
Andy Lucky, Uche, Celestine, Blessing, everyone.